Hey, product manager, are you crushing launches, creating amazing products, but still stuck at the same level? Look, it's not your skills. It's these five boring habits that no one talks about. Most product managers change big features. Directors making 500K plus, they master the habits that look pointless but scream executive. Look, I've coached over 1,000 product managers into amazing roles. Let me show you what they did differently. Number one, them narrating their wins instead of hoping someone notices. See, most product managers believe good work speaks for itself, but the truth is that in high performing organizations, everyone's doing good work. The ones who get promoted are the ones who make sure the right people understand the business impact they're driving. The difference is subtle but extremely powerful. Just saying is like, hey, we ship stuff on time, the feature's done, congrats. The real narrative could be, hey, we shipped on time, the feature is being adopted well, we learned all these things from customers, and we're projected to drive $2 million in revenue as a result of this feature. Narrating connects your work to business outcomes. It's not self promotion, it's strategic communication. Product managers who narrate their wins don't just get promoted faster, they get invited to more strategic initiatives. And those initiatives give them more leverage, more visibility, more chance to build their strategy skill sets, more impact, and this flywheel just continues. For example, one of my clients, Steven Sarush, nailed this. When he joined our program, he felt stuck. He had good chops, but in a more formal product org, he was lacking confidence. He didn't come from a software background, but once he started narrating his impact and repeating clear messages to leadership, things changed. One senior leader even echoed a phrase Stephen had been using. The status quo is our biggest competitor. When someone else repeats your language as if it's their own, well, that's influence. Stephen used shuttle diplomacy, aligning stakeholders one by one before the big meeting, communicating the big impact. And when it came time to propose a whole new data team, the room was already brought in. The answer wasn't, we'll think about it. It was, hey, Steven, you lead it, go hire a product manager, let's go. That's what happens when you narrate clearly and consistently. Now, you want a quick way to start? Every Friday, email your manager. One win, the impact, what you learned, what's next. Simple, repetitive career shifting. Let's start with the second habit. They ask strategic questions and not just answer them. Senior level product managers, the directors, don't just solve problems, they choose which problems to solve and they push others to rethink what matters. If you're always answering requests and jumping into delivery mode, you're stuck in task execution land. Next time, flip the script. Don't just ask, when do you need this? Ask, what's the cost of waiting 6 months? Because maybe it's worthwhile waiting 6 months. Don't just ask, who's the customer? Ask, whose behavior must change for revenue to move? These questions show that you're thinking like an executive before you are. This isn't about slowing things down. It's about focusing energy on what matters, and that gives you more speed than anything else. Strategic product managers reduce noise and increase signal, and leaders notice that. Look, you've just learned what separates good product managers from great ones. But knowing these habits and implementing them strategically, they're two different things. So if you're tired of being passed over despite strong performance or tired of not landing that next role, I've opened up sessions with my team, strategy sessions, where we'll map out your exact path to that director role and the 300K, 400K, 500K, $1 million in compensation, whatever's the next step in your career. The link's in the description. With that, let's talk about habit number 3. They manage up, not just down. See, most product managers are great in executing with their team, stand-ups, backlog grooming sessions, roadmaps, working with the designer, engineer. It's solid. But they forget that stakeholders and their managers have real problems, and they can be the person who helps solve them. Managing up is not politics. It's leadership. Change that word. It's not sucking up to proactively bring your manager insights, risks, or recommendations. It's treating them like a partner in the company's success and your success. So instead of asking your manager, hey, what should I prioritize? Say, here's what I'm seeing across teams. Here's 3 options we could explore. Here's my recommendation. Curious how you think this aligns with our strategy. In my own career, The moments that I grew the fastest were when I became my manager's thought partner. If they needed a review on a document, they came to me. If they were under pressure to drive clarity, I already had some of those answers and a strong point of view that they respected. That's the shift. You're no longer just executing, you're helping shape the strategy. One client started doing this, and within a few months, they were presenting directly to the exec team. They went from director to VP. Not because they asked, but because they did all these things and leadership trusted them to think at that level. Now, there's another habit that people don't like to talk about, which is saying no gracefully and being respected for saying no. See, you can't lead without boundaries. Directors say no all the time, but they do it with strategy and respect. The trick is they don't just reject, they redirect. Something like, hey, if we prioritize this now, let's talk about what we might deprioritize. Here are the trade offs: delivery, revenue, team morale, or whatever the trade offs might be. This moves the conversation out of opinion and into real trade offs. And very often, you can win it without trying to win the argument. You're not being difficult, you're helping the business think clearly. The result? People respect your judgment. You're no longer the product manager who just blocks things. You become the product manager who sees the big picture and makes decisions accordingly. And habit number 5 is that they build relationships before they need them. Look, high leverage product managers don't wait until launch week to connect with stakeholders. They grab coffee with engineering when things are calm. They check in with their sales team about customer feedback between releases. They talk to support when no one else is paying attention. And they're building relationships outside their company for their next role. That's the magic. You build goodwill during the quiet moments, so when it's loud, people trust you. Relationship building feels boring. It feels like extra work, but it's a difference between seeing as a task executor, person executing the task, English my second language, and being seen as a future leader. When promotion season hits, these people already know your character. They already know your track record and they want you to lead. When it's time to find the next role, you have all these supporters. Here's a question for you. You want to start today? Here's your weekly checklist. Narrate one win. Include the business impact, not just the task. Ask one strategic question. Push a conversation beyond delivery. Send one manage up note. Show your manager how you're thinking ahead. Say one graceful no. Use trade-off, not tension. And book 2 coffees, one with someone in your company and one outside. These aren't flashy. They're not shiny object tactics, but they work. And they compound over time. And they're how you signal leadership before you have the title. Here's the truth. You already have the skills to get to the next level. What you need is a positioning, narrative, and a strategic approach. That's exactly what we fix in my intentional job search program. We help you build a story, confidence, and positioning that gets you seen as leadership material. If you're ready to stop hoping and start positioning yourself strategically, book a breakthrough session with my team. Link in the description, and then you make sure to watch this next video where I show you the exact negotiation tactics that got one of my clients from 240K to 450K.